After everything that had unfolded, I decided it was time for a final confrontation with my dad. Not to mend the relationship or seek reconciliation, but to lay everything on the table and make it clear where I stood. The weight of recent revelations about his betrayal of my mom was too heavy to carry silently. I needed to confront him, not out of anger, but out of a need for closure and to reclaim some sense of control over the chaos he had brought into my life. I sent him a message asking to meet, knowing he would jump at the opportunity. He likely saw it as a sign I was ready to return, to reconcile and go along with his version of events. When I arrived at the house empty-handed, without any indication that I was moving back, the surprise on both his and Jane's faces was palpable. They clearly expected me to arrive with my tail between my legs, ready to submit to their narrative of family unity. As we sat in the living room, Dad made an awkward attempt at small talk, asking how I was doing and whether I was ready to move forward. Jane sat beside him, her face a mask of forced composure, her polite smile so brittle it looked like it might shatter under the weight of her discomfort. It took everything in me to remain calm. My anger simmered beneath the surface, but I reminded myself that this wasn't about giving them the satisfaction of seeing me lose control. I got straight to the point, wasting no time. I told Dad I knew. I knew about the affair. I knew he had been with Jane while Mom was still alive. I didn't need to name Sarah as the source of my information. I wasn't about to drag her further into this mess, but I made it clear that I had all the confirmation I needed. The impact of my words hit him like a physical blow. His face froze, his mouth opening and closing like a fish gasping for air. For the first time in a long time, he had nothing to say. Jane's reaction was equally revealing. Her forced calmness evaporated in an instant. Her pale face betrayed her panic as she stammered out a denial, her words clumsy and desperate. She tried to claim it wasn't what it seemed, but her voice lacked conviction. I wasn't there to debate the details or listen to her excuses. I already knew the truth, and their attempts to spin the narrative weren't going to sway me. I made it clear why I was there. This wasn't a negotiation or a plea for an apology. I told them bluntly that I wasn't coming back. I explained that I didn't trust them, and I couldn't pretend to be part of a life built on lies and betrayal. The house, half of it at least, was mine, and I wasn't going to let them push me out. But I also had no desire to live there. I told them I would decide what to do with my share of the property in my own time, but in the meantime, they had no right to make any decisions about the house without my explicit agreement. Dad, of course, tried to shift the blame. He played the victim, accusing me of tearing the family apart and claiming I was overreacting. He attempted to guilt me, saying how hard things had been for him after Mom died, and how he had needed someone to lean on, conveniently framing his betrayal as an act of vulnerability rather than selfishness. He painted Jane as his savior, as though her presence in his life was a noble act of support rather than an affront to my mother's memory. But I wasn't buying it. His words, dripping with self-pity, only deepened my resolve. He had made his choices, and now he had to live with them. My mom had been gone less than a year, yet he expected me to overlook everything, the lies, the betrayal, and the sheer disrespect for her memory, and fall in line with his new life. I refused to feel guilty for standing my ground when he was the one who had failed to honor his vows and his family. Jane, for her part, remained mostly silent. Her earlier protests dissolved into quiet resignation as I made it clear that I saw through her. She had always wanted me out of the house, and now it was obvious why. I was an obstacle to the life she and my dad wanted to build, a reminder of my mom and everything she had worked so hard to create. Her discomfort in that moment was a small vindication, but it didn't erase the bitterness I felt toward both of them. When I finally left the house, I felt an odd mix of emotions. There was no triumph in the confrontation, no satisfaction in seeing their reactions. It was simply a step I needed to take for myself, to draw a line and reclaim some of the power they had tried to take from me. I knew I couldn't change the past or undo the pain they had caused, but I could protect the future my mom had envisioned for me. Uncle James was waiting when I got back. His steady presence a reminder that not everyone in my life was tainted by dishonesty and betrayal. He reassured me that I had done the right thing, and for the first time in weeks, I felt a glimmer of peace. My mom's love and foresight had shielded me in ways I hadn't fully understood until now. She had made sure I would have a voice, even in her absence, and I intended to honor her wishes. For now I'm taking it one day at a time. The house is still a question mark, and my relationship with my dad is likely beyond repair. But I've found strength in the truth, and in the knowledge that I have people in my corner who truly care about me. My mom's love and her unwavering belief in me are the foundation I'm building on now. It's a painful journey, but I know I'll come out stronger on the other side. I confronted them, laying bare the truth they had tried so hard to obscure. Jane refused to take any responsibility, her denial as hollow as the lies they had built their relationship upon. But I didn't expect anything different from her. At that moment, it became clear to me that I didn't care anymore. Whatever happens between the two of them is their burden to bear. They've created their reality, and they can live with it together. Once I had said everything I needed to, I rose from my seat. My father's expression was a mixture of shock and disbelief. Perhaps he truly believed I would come crawling back, ready to reconcile and pretend nothing had happened. He was sorely mistaken. I walked out of that house with my head held high and a sense of liberation that had eluded me for weeks. The weight of unspoken truths, suppressed emotions, and lingering doubts had lifted. It wasn't easy, but there was a sense of closure in standing up for myself, in declaring that I wouldn't be part of their lives anymore. Since that day, I've severed all ties with both of them. I blocked them on social media, cutting off the digital thread they might have used to reach me. I've stopped responding to any messages from my father's side of the family. Occasionally, Sarah lets me know that my dad has been spinning the narrative, painting me as the unreasonable one, the source of all the discord. But I've stopped caring about the stories he tells. People will believe what they want, and I refuse to expend any more energy trying to justify myself to those who don't know, or refuse to see, the truth. The matter of the house remains unresolved for now. My lawyer and Uncle James have been invaluable in helping me navigate the legal and financial complexities. I've been weighing my options, selling my share or renting it out. What I know for certain is that I have no desire to be tied to that house anymore. Its walls are steeped in memories and betrayals I can't bear to relive. At the same time, I won't hand Dad and Jane an easy victory. If they wish to remain in the house, they'll have to contend with the fact that I still have a stake in it. They can't make any major changes without my consent, and I intend to hold on to that control until I've decided what's best for me. This entire ordeal has been an awakening. It has shown me how easily trust can be shattered by those closest to you. Yet, it has also revealed an inner strength I hadn't realized I possessed. I've weathered this storm with my integrity intact, refusing to be silenced or diminished. I've emerged on the other side ready to forge a future defined by my terms, not theirs. As for my dad and Jane, they've made their choices. They may believe they've won, but I think they'll eventually come to realize the cost of what they've done. Relationships built on lies rarely stand the test of time. Karma has a way of finding its mark, and while I've washed my hands of them, I can't help but believe they'll face the consequences of their actions someday. For now, my focus is on myself and the people who truly matter, the ones who have stood by me, supported me, and reminded me that I'm not alone. I've chosen to look forward, not back. This chapter of my life may have been painful, but it has also been transformative. It's a part of my story now, but it doesn't define me. To everyone who supported me through this, I owe a heartfelt thank you. Your kindness, advice, and shared experiences have been a lifeline during the darkest moments. Knowing that others understood my pain and encouraged me to stand firm gave me the courage to stay true to myself. I'll always carry that gratitude with me as I move forward. This isn't the end. It's a new beginning, and I'm ready for it.